I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We begin every meeting with public comment. We have one individual signed up for public comment tonight. At this time, I call Mr. Mali for public comment.
Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important global crisis of corona, we are united to continue education of our children. Lawrence Public School, under impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of Lawrence, moving forward. Great news of accreditation of Lawrence High School make every citizen proud. Teachers and the union must know 83,000 citizens behind them in this important year for the contract. Our safety officers from Lawrence High School, especially our friend safety officer Mili, respectfully asking for support of Officer Mili. In this global crisis of corona, we must unite, continue the education of our children. While there might be disruption in the education of our public children, we must be ready for the continued education. While our city stands strong and united, we support the leadership of Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, who arrived in our city in a Colombia gas fire and crisis. Now we are witnessing the coronavirus global crisis. This great immigrant city, children of revolution of the bread and roses, will rise up to overcome this obstacle. We are united. Lawrence always unite, always strong. Contract for our teachers and support our safety officer meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mali. At this time, I would ask the board to entertain a motion to add an item to the agenda. I would like to add a report from the superintendent and mayor on the coronavirus. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. At this time, I would ask the superintendent and then mayor to give us a update on the status of Lawrence Public Schools' actions relative to the coronavirus.
Yeah, thank you. So LPS has developed a task force that is in daily communication as we prepare to support our school staff, families, and students. We're in close communication with city and state health officials and of course with DESE. We have canceled, in accordance to the guidance, out-of-state and international trips. We are monitoring events that we are hosting school-based. We have started a very deep cleaning sanitation process with our foggers. Those are nightly with high-touch surfaces. Those are handrails, elevator buttons, all the surfaces that are very high-touch. We have upped our supplies of hand soap. We are continuing to support our nurses and custodians with the right equipment and prepare their emergency plans. We are also working on access for food in the event that we have school closings. We're monitoring our attendance and following the guidelines by DESE. And of course, we're in close communications with our principals and our teachers and with our families.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To begin with, we just came out of a meeting directly associated with kind of all of the players involved in having to handle the virus. It's myself, Martha Velez, our Health and Human Services Director, City Council President Vasquez, Fire Chief Moriarty, Police Chief Vask, Professional Services Director Armano, the Superintendent was present, Dr. Gorn, the Chair of our Board of Health, the President of Holy Family, the Emergency Management Director, Amy Hamill from Holy Family, Dr. Condilis, the ER Physician Director at LGH, Kim Moriarty, Nurse Director, Paul Brennan, the Paramedic Director, Lawrence General, who runs all of our ambulances, the City Attorney, and various other functionaries at the different hospitals. communication to get really basically all of the fundamental pieces of communication, of action, of concern on the table, kind of talk to each other before anything greater happens. As we get together today, the state most recent statistics show that there are an increase of 5 positive cases of COVID in Massachusetts. It brings it from 92 to 95. It's only a growth of 3 from the day before. The levels of quarantines are up. The important number for us is that Essex County continually still only has 1 positive case. There, in that, from what we know, that 1 positive case, from what we know today, is not in Lawrence. But if you want the more updated stuff, I think the website for the state on this matter is a lot more informative. I don't want to speak out of turn. I do want to just note that we are also going to adopt the governor's executive branch restrictions. He declared a state of emergency yesterday due to this virus and offered the new guidance for the executive branch employees, and in order to prevent the spread of the virus. And as of today, I'm adopting the same directives for the city and the city employees. This guidance goes into effect immediately and will be revisited every 30 days or sooner as circumstances dictate. The city government will continue full operation and prepared to serve residents and businesses in the community as needed. At this time, members of the Lawrence Board of Health and Lawrence Public Schools are in contact with the Department of Public Health in order to stay up to date on information regarding the virus. Lawrence Public School Superintendent has shared updates with parents and community members as information becomes available, and will be posting updates on the district's website in each school building, as she has talked about, undergoes rigorous cleaning daily to ensure that commonly touched surfaces are disinfected. School buses and vehicles bringing kids to school that we do have control over, those are cleaned some daily and some weekly. All work-related travel, both foreign and domestic, is to be discontinued until further notice. City employees are also strongly encouraged to avoid any personal international travel. Conferences, seminars, and other discretionary gatherings scheduled and hosted by the City of Lawrence involving external parties are to be held virtually or canceled. Regular internal business shall continue, including but not limited to mandated public hearings and board meetings. Meeting organizers are strongly encouraged to utilize alternatives like conference calls, WebEx, and other group communication tools. I did issue a special executive order, allowing for remote participation in meetings like this and public hearings, including the City Council. And so that is in effect as of today. Additionally, the City of Lawrence employees should not attend external work-related conferences, seminars, or events. And alternatively, City of Lawrence employees are encouraged to participate remotely if they can. City of Lawrence employees feeling sick with fever or flu symptoms should not come into work. Information available to date regarding the virus indicates that the highest risk population includes older adults and individuals with serious chronic medical conditions. Employees in this risk group are encouraged to talk with their supervisors to review possible alternative work assignments. These actions complement additional precautions that have been undertaken in recent days, including encouraging proper self-care and hygiene, such as washing your hands, ensuring bathrooms are stocked with hand washing materials and paper products, frequently cleaning touch points such as doors, knobs, handles, elevator buttons, and common area surfaces, and making clean products and sanitizers available in all City of Lawrence workspaces, including the publishing of a flyer that's both colorful and basic to get the most basic pieces of information to people, and ensuring that we get out to all of the buildings and communities that are most susceptible to the virus. For additional updates on the virus, including preventive measures, please you can also visit the Lawrence Alert Center website. It's cityoflawrence.com. It's at the very top. You'll see it. It's a big bar. You can also go to the mass.gov 2019 coronavirus website that the state has. In an effort to ensure you have good awareness, DPH will update that stuff daily. I think all in all, the communications have been good, up to date, the best information that we can are getting out to the most people. Encourage folks to keep communicating with each other, and don't forget that communication means not just talking to each other in English, it also means to do it in a bilingual manner, and making sure that everyone can access the information. And if you have to create a plan for your organization, that you have to create a plan for everyone, not just, I think that the universities are finding that they want to shut the universities down fast, but there's people that need to stick around, so they have to have plans specifically for students who don't have meals or live far and those things. So I would encourage you, as you're making decisions about your organizations and your businesses, to specifically make a plan for everyone in your organization. But I think that the schools are in good hands with Superintendent Paris and her team, the task force that she's put together, Chief Vask and Chief Moriarty, working every day with the leadership at City Hall, are ensuring that we will be safe. 3 things: they have plans for scaling for testing between the public sector and that's the administration and the public organizations and the hospitals. They have a plan for scaling testing, and they have a plan for scaling for care. If they need to grow the number of beds in the hospitals, we do have a plan for that. We have most recently had a table talk conversation with all the players where they have planning specifically for types of events like this. I'm not going to go into those details because we're not at that bridge, but suffice it to say that we are prepared for those things, even in a situation where the state and the federal government are not going to be there to help us. We will be prepared as a community to help ourselves. Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Greatly appreciate that update. I do want to give members a chance to ask any questions if they have them.
I have a question. Thank you, Superintendent and Mayor, for that information. And I know during this discussion and the precautionary measures that have been taken into place, and I know the Superintendent mentioned that there has been a task force put together. Has there been any discussion at all as to any closing of schools? And I understand that in other communities, the reason why some of the schools have closed is because of some of the students are currently on vacation at this time and probably traveled to different places. But has any of this discussion taken place in terms that if we do have to get to those measures, how are we going to continue to educate our kids remotely?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. We've had lots of conversations in the superintendent network as well as with DESE. There are some challenges for various communities in terms of access and equity. So we're very sensitive not to continue to highlight those disparities. We are not encouraging remote learning because many of our families do not have that access. And so we are very hopeful that in the event that we do have to close, it is for one day in deep cleaning. We have very good examples from my colleagues in other districts about how to do this right now. And DESE has been clear with their guidance in terms of the 180-day. We are at 3 snow days, so we still have 2 snow days that we wouldn't have to make up, so that's fingers crossed for us. But to your specific questions about remote learning, we're not going to explore that given access inequities.
In case we had to shut down, has any discussion taken place as to what we will do for the remainder of the school year?
So you're saying
and we're
long-term?
hoping this will not happen.
Sure. So the question is long-term, and we haven't discussed that yet in my network and with DESE. We are on weekly calls with them, and that is definitely a scenario that we're going to be discussing. So I don't have an answer for you right now, and we're exploring. We're not the only community that has this limitation or this challenge, and we're very sensitive to that. So we want to make sure that what we're offering or what we're thinking about planning ahead for our students and family is it's good, it's quality, it's engaging, and that we can deliver an experience that's remote that also makes sense. So we're exploring those scenarios.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Great. At this time, I'd ask the superintendent to give her report.
Great, thank you. So on the sunny side, last week we hosted a Dancing with the Stars, which is a yearly event that we love so much. It was a fantastic performance by all of our students who are in the position of teaching our staff members. And so it was a fun-filled night with 18 acts that dazzled us with their moves. The other thing that I wanted to circle back with you all when I last met with you is the headmaster update. When I last met with you all, we were in semifinalists with 2 very strong candidates. And we moved into the finalist round, which happened earlier this week. We had performance tasks that included going to classrooms. We asked the candidates to describe what they saw, feedback that they would be offering teachers. We asked them for leadership scenarios that included scenarios that are very challenging with a teacher, with a principal, with a parent, with a student, with a community partner. We also then had them at the PAC, at our Performance Arts Center, for opening remarks and then Q&A with staff members who were very candid with some of their concerns, and they asked really good questions about our demographics and our populations. And so we're at the point of a reference.
Soundstripe.